It's a privilege to welcome you all once again on behalf of Research Foundation of India to day 4 of the Faculty Development Program and the training program on advanced research techniques for research methodology. Today's focus is on the topic of hypothesis development and testing. This collaborative initiative has been meticulously organized by the Synergy Research Foundation of India and RFI-CARE in association with Paro University, Gujarat. It is graciously supported by Shane Malwa, Eklavya University, JHRF, Academic Research Guide Association, and EduAttack Making. Now, before we proceed, allow me the privilege of introducing our esteemed expert, Dr. Kunal Sodhi. He is an associate professor of finance and accounting at the School of Management at GSH University, Vadodara. With a rich academic background, spanning 10 years and an additional 3 years of industrial experience, he holds a diverse set of qualifications, including a BBA and MBA in finance, PhD in management, and various specialized diplomas. His remarkable contributions to the field are evident through his 24 publications in widely recognized journals such as Scopus, ABDC, UGC Care, and Web of Science. Notably, he holds a patent under the Intellectual Property Rights Act 1970, recognized by the Government of India for his innovative work for techno-innovation and growth of the Indian share market. His academic excellence is further highlighted by his receipt of 3 Best Research Paper awards at international conferences sponsored by UGC and AICTE. Recognized as the best faculty of the management department at Paro Institute of Management, he has also served as a sought-after resource person and a session chair at 20 B schools, UGC, HRDCs, and research institutes across India. As a dynamic educator, he imparts knowledge through training sessions on analytical software such as SPSS, AMOS, Smart PLS, eViews, Advanced Excel, and R programming. His commitment to continuous learning is demonstrated by his participation in over 20 faculty development programs organized by the prestigious institutions such as IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Visakhapatnam. Having presented 19 research papers at national and international conferences and led 17 seminars and workshops, he stands as a beacon of expertise and innovation in the field of finance, accounting, and management. So, once again, let us extend a warm and cordial welcome to the esteemed Dr. Kunal, sir. Thank you. Over to you, sir. Kunal, sir?
Yeah, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just confirm the screen sharing. Yeah, I hope it is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So good evening, all. Okay. So
Good evening, sir.
good evening, all.
Good
Yeah.
evening, sir.
So today we have the topic for discussion is hypothesis testing and development. So it's very important topic in the journey of research when we are proceeding for the finalization of concluding our topic. So hypothesis is considered to be the scientific treatment for research journey, as and when we have to prove that whatever topic that we have decided, and based on topic there are certain treatments that we have to give it as a part of hypothesis testing and development. In this case, the hypothesis testing and development plays an important role, pivotal role. And it is very important that we have to justify each and every aspect into scientific manner. So it is very, very important that when we are talking about hypothesis testing and development, so we have to justify and we have to notify certain before and after process for the hypothesis testing and development. So there are a few processes that happens before hypothesis, and there are few processes which are happening after hypothesis. So here we have to have point of discussion that what are the before process and what are the after process. Okay. So when I'm talking about hypothesis, so let's discuss first about the before process of hypothesis testing and development. So can anybody tell me, like if I am writing hypothesis as a midway of our research journey, so on this way, we will discuss about the before hypothesis process. And on this way, we will discuss the after hypothesis process. Right. So can anybody tell me, right, or before, what are the processes that we have to proceed before the hypothesis, to reach at the hypothesis level? So what are the processes that we have to do? So we will go one by one. Like, let's say if I'm designing some hypothesis, so hypothesis should be designed based on what, right? So when we are saying that certain things is based on what, that means we are discussing the before process before reaching to that particular part. Yeah, any answers that when we are discussing about hypothesis? So before hypothesis, which process we have to do it? In a sense, when we are discussing something in research paper or thesis writing or research proposal about hypothesis, so hypothesis statement we are finalizing based on what?
Sir, predictions and observations.
Okay, predictions and observation. So whenever you decide something to predict and when you observe something, so that observation you will frame in research language in what sense? See, when you are designing hypothesis, the hypothesis is called inferences about the population. So when you design certain hypothesis, you are making certain assumption about the population for certain predictions. So that means we are designing hypothesis to prove that predictions, right? But when the prediction needs to be proven, so those predictions we have to frame it in terms of objectives, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. So hypothesis is basically developed based on whatever objectives that we are trying to prove in our research journey. So hypothesis is nothing but the basic representations of the objectives that we have framed in our research. Is it clear? Right. So this is the basic assumptions about the objectives that we have framed. Now the question is, what process we have to done? So when we decided certain objectives, so what was the before process of objective that we have completed based on what we as a researcher was in a position to frame our objectives and hypothesis to be in a synchronized manner. So
Problem
what
statement, sir.
perfect problem statements, right? So problem statement is basically what exactly it is. In a layman language, if I need to define the problem statement for the research, so what is this problem statements?
Research gap.
Okay, that is the similar words. But problem statement in research gap is basically representing what in research? So when I'm reading some problem statement or research gap for any researcher, what exactly it communicates to me?
Title of the project, sir.
Title of the
Project.
problem, project. Okay, certainly, but I want some specific answer. Let's say the hypothesis will be decided based on objective. Objective will be decided based on problem statement, right? Or you can
Review of
say
literature.
okay, perfect. So it has based on, so before problem statement, we are doing literature review. Perfect.
Yeah.
But still, I need this answer that what is research gap? So the perfect answer to this research gap is what others have done till today and what additional we are expecting to do in this research. So what others have done it, and out of that, what additional we are going to do. Additional means we are not going to do only that what already has done in the past. Along with that, there would be certain additional things that we are going to incorporate. That is where our research will create some societal importance into the market. Otherwise, if we are carrying the same research which has been done in the past, our research has no importance, right? So to create your importance of research, your research gap should be very specific. In a sense, always try to define in research gap that what already has been done in this particular research and what additional things you are going to provide in this research. And that is where how you can differentiate your research from the others. Clear? That is where it is called problem statement, research gap. And those problem statements and research gap is nothing but what literature review have done it, and based on those objectives that you have framed, based on the problem statement will be reflected in objective, and through the objective you will finally try to prove through the hypothesis. Clear? So synchronization process between literature review of the previous author, and based on that, what is your expectations through the problem statement, and those expectations you have tried to incorporate in the objectives, and that is going to be reflected in the problem statements. Understood? Any query? And literature review should be based on what? Very simple. Proposed title. Why I have used the term called proposed title and not the title? Why I have used this word? The simple answer to this particular question is, when I'm writing certain research work, usually in Indian universities, they are taking title first and then the rest of the process is going on. But usually it is reverse. You start and you should be blind enough completely when you start your research. And that's why I have used the word called proposed title. That means 70 to 80% you are clear that what you are going to do and why you are conducting this research. So this will give you directions to do the research, right? And that is where you will start doing the process in terms of literature review, identification of research gap, based on which you will design objectives and proceed with the hypothesis. But when we are going with this entire process, right? So I'm using this term called proposed title. So in my research journey, I never decide my title in the beginning. I just have my proposed title. That means it has a chances of modification once I'll gradually move on to the further steps of research. So already we have finished the before process of hypothesis. Now what is the after process of hypothesis? So after process of hypothesis are, based on hypothesis, what we will do? We will design questionnaires based on variables that we have it. Yes or no? We will design questionnaire. Yeah? Yes or no? Or we will have the secondary sources for the data collections. Clear? So we will design questionnaire. Based on
Hello.
questionnaire, what we will do?
Hello.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Sorry to disturb you. I have
Please,
one question.
please.
Uh, in the thesis,
Hmm.
we will add the proposed title,
Right.
the final. Will we add the proposed
Your
title?
voice is breaking, sir. Can you repeat your question?
Hello.
बोलिए.
In the thesis, PhD
Right.
thesis, uh,
हाँ.
will we add a proposed title?
That's what I'm saying. No, in Indian universities, it's not happening. They are taking title
Okay.
first. They are taking title
Okay.
first. But this
Okay.
practice you can always incorporate in terms of whenever you are writing your quality research papers.
Okay.
Right?
Because of I
Because
am
for
facing this
university purpose,
problem.
you need to freeze your title first,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they will proceed with your journey. Right.
Oh,
So that is a
yes.
different
Yes.
scenario. And that is where it has been considered that, when you start your PhD and once you complete your PhD, you just started your research.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
And once you
Hmm.
complete your research PhD, then gradually you will consider yourself to be comfortable in research. And then after you will start doing this process, because initially once you are starting with the first time, even though you know this process through my lectures, but if it comes to the incorporation part, it always faces the difficulties, right? Because if you are a beginner and you might be aware about it, like, I don't know what is where you are standing, sir, but I hope you have experienced those things also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Same.
right.
Same. Yeah. 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 Thank you, sir. Hmm.
Okay. So, questionnaire and secondary sources. So, based on which we will going to collect data. So that is called data collection. Either through questionnaire, either you can go for interview, structure interview, opinion based, secondary sources through like website. So all those sources are available through which we can collect the data for our research. Clear? Okay. Then what else we have to see to it? Data collection. After this process, we have data analysis and interpretation, and during that process there are certain other process like data and based on which we will proceed for the data, right? So this is the gradual process that we have to do it. So data analysis is the next process that we have to see. And once the data analysis and interpretation is going to over, we have to proceed with what is the last stages? Which is the last stage after data analysis and interpretation?
Findings and conclusion.
Perfect. Findings and conclusions, followed by societal importance, followed by societal importance. Clear? Understood? Clear or not? So that is after data analysis and
Yes, sir.
interpretation, we have findings and conclusion. Now that why I was telling this particular step, like, one uh, participant has raised a query about PhD. So in PhD, Indian universities, they are freezing the title so that, they don't have to guide the freshers in a blind manner. That is what the logic, so that you have been freeze with the title, and based on title, you just walk in the flow of the particular things, right? But when you are going with the research, right, when you are going with the research part in terms of, date publications of papers and all this aspect, right? So based on things, you have to meet up to the journal guidelines. And journal guidelines, the first aspect that says that, when we are talking about that, ultimately your findings and conclusion, this step should have direct alignment with this step. If there are mismatch between these two steps, then you might have shown the negligence during this process. I hope it is clear. And in my beginning of my session, I told you that hypothesis is a midpoint of research journey. Henceforth, I am proving it. You can see this: before hypothesis, there are 4 processes, and after hypothesis, there are 4 processes. Clear to all of you? And there is always a synchronization process, like, your findings and conclusions should always meet with data analysis and interpretation that you have drawn. Data analysis and interpretation should always be done based on the types of data that you have, taken up, because whatever test for the analytical point of view that you have to apply, it is based on the types of data that you have collected. Data collection is going to be based on the questionnaires that we have designed, right? So questionnaire is going to be the part of it. Based on the questionnaire, your questionnaire should be based on the hypothesis, means what statement that you are trying to prove, and or actually objectives and hypothesis combinedly define your questionnaire. So because based on what objective you have framed, according to that, we have to frame the hypothesis statements. So hypothesis and objectives combinedly decide which sort of questions need to ask, because the types of questions that we are going to ask is have a direct impact on types of data that we have collected. So based on the objectives that we have framed, according to that, the types of data needs to be collected. So depending upon the types of data that we need to collect in terms of data collection, we need to decide that which questions should be asked in which scale of data. Either I should ask in nominal, either I should ask in ordinal, or either I should ask in ratio scale data, right? So this, it is completely depends upon the scientific theories and rationality of the concept that we always have to take care. Otherwise, it will create always a problem. So based on hypothesis and objectives, we have to decide questionnaire. Objectives and hypothesis will be decided based on problem statements. That is called research gap. So what additional we are going to do, that should be reflected in objective, and objectives and hypothesis is a reflection of the objectives that we have framed, right? So according to that, our problem statements needs to be defined. And once the problem statement we have defined, we have to do the systematic literature review, right? So we have to go with systematic literature review. So we have to done the proper literature reviews for this particular aspect. So that is what it's called, literature review. And literature review is going to be depends upon the title that we have framed, right? So title that we have framed, according to that, we have to do the literature review, right? So whenever we are going with the entire process, ultimately, there should be a synchronization process between what title that we have framed and what conclusion that we have derived. So during this process, we have to do this much amount of processes, and all the processes should be scientifically justified. Even though you have shown any negligence in any of the process, it will directly impact to the final findings and conclusion. And if it is going to impact the findings and conclusions, ultimately it will have a mismatch with your title. So either you need to compromise your title, or either you need to compromise your findings and conclusions. And if this compromise is going to arise, your chances of getting acceptance of your paper into good quality journals like Scopus, ABDC, Web of Science is going to be reduced. Is it clear? Fine enough?
Hello. Hello,
Uh,
sir. I have one question.
please.
In the literature review, how
Hmm.
much data we will add in the paper?
Uh,
2 line,
Data,
3 line, 4 line, 5 line.
not
What
like
is the
that.
requirement?
If you are going with the normal peer-reviewed journal, so it is 3 to 4 literature review is fine. But if you are going with systematic literature review, so till the time your topic is not justified, in terms of problem statements and all this. So till the time you have to add the, per statement wise, you have to catch up from the experts. So all these Scopus, ABDC, Web of Science journals are focusing upon systematic literature review. So in that cases, you don't have to write the entire literature review for that particular author, but you are just taking underlying theories, and those underlying theories you are going to justify based on per authors who have taken out this particular statements. Yeah. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, sorry to
right.
interrupt you. In the literature review, if I finalize the author line, particular line, the
Right.
which connect with my paper, yeah, or title, but they need to with my language or direct copy with the directly add.
Your voice is slight gone. Can you
Hello, yes, sir. Uh, if I'm finalize the author, then finalize the line, which is the require with my title. Uh, this line I will directly use copy paste, or I will uh, clarify with my title. Then after the with my language, I will add or directly copy and paste.
It's not like that we have to directly copy and paste,
Yeah.
right? But when we are going with literature, so we have to take the support of underlying theories. You can go with the underlying theories. And according to the underlying theory statements that we have it, we need to go and search for that particular literature review, like that this underlying theory is saying this statement to statement wise. And, any particular author have proven that particular line for supporting to your research work. So according to that, we have to cite them. Clear? You have to pick up your underlying theory. Or even though if you are going for one particular line and you are finding one literature review, and according to that, if you are finding something more content, so you can also take out those content for your systematic literature review. And once you proceed with more and more content ahead and there, right, you try to get more and more literature review from the other authors who have tried to prove the same things. So it is a step-by-step process that you need to go for it. But again, to answer your question, like, how much literature review I have to do. So in systematic literature review, till the time your topic is not going to be proven, you can take as many literature references, as many literature review you want to take it out. But ultimately, your underlying theory should be justified in a chronological manner from evaluation of the content till the conclusion of the content. Right. It is not going to matter in systematic literature review whether you are citing the authors of 2011 to be last and 2024 to be first, or vice versa, or in between. Here, the content and the topic needs to be justified. The time frame is not going to matter.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more question.
Yeah.
Sorry to, I'm continuously asking the questions. Sir, we will use in the literature in the paper the 5 to 6 literature review. But when we finalize our synopsis, how how much literature review, author literature reviews we need to present in our synopsis?
For synopsis, you need to go for 4 to 5, right? Or else if
Only.
it is asking for table content, table view content, so you can max to max show 10. If it
Okay,
is
and the final thesis and the final thesis and the final thesis for PhD. Hello, hello. Yes, sir. Hello,
And
hello. Sorry, can you heard me, sir? Hello, can you heard me?
yes, I'm hearing you. You can hear me?
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, can you please tell me, compared to this synopsis in the thesis, how much literature do you require?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry. In the compare with the synopsis, how much literature review require for final thesis?
It is a call of university and call of guide. But if I need to, in a common scenario, if I need to answer your question, so minimum 50 and maximum 80.
Okay,
So
50 and 80.
In between anything you can do it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So let's start with that. So it is an assumption about the population. it is a characteristics of populations that can be measured in terms of means and variances. So first of all, why hypothesis is called an assumption about the population? Why it is called assumption about the population? So simple thing is, are you making hypothesis for sample study or population study? Let's say if I'm taking 500 sample, yes or no? Just like you are talking about thesis. So are you making analysis on population or samples? Obviously samples. So whenever you are taking samples out of the population, that means whatever topic that you are planning to do, you are not checking the entire population. But to check that population and to make an analysis and assumption about that population, you are trying to take some samples out of these populations. Right? So that is called sample study. Yeah. So this is called sample study. So that is why whenever we are taking sample study for checking our population, we are considering the hypothesis, because we are not directly checking the entire characteristics of the population, but we are just checking the representative of the population, which is called sample study. Is it clear? So whenever you are taking sample study, you have to frame the hypothesis. This is called null. This is called alternate. Clear? This is called null and this is called alternate hypothesis. It is a characteristics of population that can be measured in terms of means and variances, right? So whenever you are taking hypothesis, so either you can check the mean values of the data or you can check the variance of the data. And based on the checking of means and variances, you can take the decisions of the hypothesis. And it must be identified before analysis, So all those aspects you must need to identify before the analysis, right? Whether you want to go for mean analysis or you want to go for variance analysis. So each and every steps you need to identify before going for analysis. Right, so that's why I already mentioned that it is an assumption about the population parameter that is called population mean. After the collection of sample data, the researcher calculates sample statistics. And based on analysis, the judgment would be passed in terms of whether the sample data are correct to represent the entire population or not. Right. So based on analysis, we have to pass the judgment that whether the sample data are correct or not. So sample data are correct or not to represent the entire population or not. So to check the correctness of the data, I hope you all are aware about the concept for reliability. Yes or no?
Yes.
So what it checks? What reliability checks? Whether the data are reliable or not to proceed further for the analysis. Whenever you do the research, it is very, very essential that every researcher should focus upon reliability analysis. And the reliability analysis should be measured based on Cronbach alpha. Should be measured based on Cronbach alpha. And the value for Cronbach alpha should always be greater than 0.7. Should always be greater than 0.7. If your value is less than 0.7, that means your sample data are not representing the entire population. That means the data are having more deviations, not reliable. And if the data are not reliable, whatever the further analysis and test that we are going to do on this particular data are not trustworthy. You cannot rely on it. Clear?
Sir,
Understood?
I have a question.
Please.
Sir, every time we say na Cronbach alpha is used for checking the reliability. Sir, only this much will be sufficient, or any other test should be there for reliability checking?
Step by step things needs to be done. Let's say if you want to go for bivariate analysis in terms of parametric, non-parametric. So overall reliability is okay. But if you want to go for, structure equation modeling, confirmatory factor analysis, like kind of things, So at this point of time, to have convergent and discriminant validity, you need to check the reliability for each and every parameters. And those parameters are proving low reliability, needs to be removed.
Okay.
Because each of the statements who is having low reliability is ultimately hampering the overall model fit for the data collections. So that is where when we are going for the confirmatory factor analysis, here we have to go into detailed analysis. Like if we are not getting overall 0.7, so obviously we will go into detailed analysis. But even though we are getting overall 0.7 Cronbach alpha, then also we need to go for detailed analysis, like, which statements are proving higher reliability and which statements are proving lower reliability,
Okay.
right?
So, sir, can we say that after Cronbach alpha, CF is required, confirmatory factor analysis is required?
Not Cronbach alpha will decide you required it. Your objective will decide whether you required or not. Because confirmatory is not a part of reliability. Confirmatory is a part of model fit. And if you want to go for model fit, you need to check the reliability. So reliability, model fit is depend on reliability. Reliability is not depends on model fit. Clear?
Reliability is not dependent on model fit. Model fit is dependent on reliability.
Obviously.
Okay. Okay, sir,
Right.
got it.
Okay, any other questions? Fine. So basic assumption of hypothesis. So validation of data, we need to validate those data in terms of normality also. And then after we need to proceed for parametric or non-parametric based on what normality we have received, and that is called hypothesized value and actual value. If the difference between hypothesized values and actual values is too high, so that proves the difference, right? That proves a significant difference. And if the gap between these two is too low, then we can prove no difference, right? It proves no difference. And here it proves significant difference. And here it proves no difference. Right. So when significant difference is there, that means the difference between these two values is quite high, right? And here it is quite low. Clear? So if we take p-value greater than 0.05, that means this p-value is greater than 0.05, which represent that we fail to reject null hypothesis. And we fail to reject null hypothesis means we accept null hypothesis. We accept null hypothesis. And we accept null hypothesis means when the difference between the hypothesized value and actual value is too low, when the difference between hypothesized value and actual value is too low, right? It means we are having no difference between what we perceived and what we received, right? In that case, the value says no difference, and the difference of these two values can be measured, I think, in t value and z value. So if the difference is too low, so obviously we will receive t value and z value to be on lower side. And statistics says that whenever you receive either t value or z value according to the test that we have applied based on the types of data, if your t and z value is low, then your p value is always going to be high. And p value is always going to be high. That means the p value is greater than 0.05. And whenever we receive p value greater than 0.05, because it is high, so obviously it will placed here. Let's say if I'm receiving p value 0.100. Why? Because the difference between hypothesized value and actual value was too low. That's why my t value and z value was too low. And that's why my p value is high. So even p value 0.100 is called high, because p value is never going to be 1 point something, 2 point something, because it always ranges from 0 to 1. Clear? So it is 0.100, which is called too high, because the high value of p is, if any value beyond 0.05, it is considered to be high. Even if it is 0.06, it is considered to be high. So here it is 0.100. So it is high. So when we talks about this this, what I'm saying is, yeah, when I'm talking about this bell-shaped curve in terms of distribution, so this is called acceptance region, right? What is acceptance region for which hypothesis? Are we talking about null hypothesis or alternate? So this is an acceptance region of null hypothesis. So this is a rejection region of what? So here we are only discussing about null hypothesis. Why? Because if we are accepting null hypothesis, then is it possible that if we are accepting null hypothesis, so that we will accept alternate, or when we are accepting null, then we are rejecting alternate? But statistics never speaks about alternate hypothesis. If you read all the research paper across the globe, they always talks in terms of whether you are accepting or rejecting null hypothesis. Because if you are accepting null hypothesis, obviously no, we don't have to discuss about alternate. But if you are rejecting null hypothesis, we always have to talk about alternate, and means we have to accept alternate. We have to accept alternate. So when this condition is going to arise, when we have to reject null hypothesis, so when your p-value is less than 0.05, right, then we have to reject null hypothesis and accept alternate hypothesis. For an example, if instead of this p, if I'll write 0.000, right, now you tell me which value is higher, 0.05 or 0.000? Which value is higher?
Sir, 0.05 or 0.00?
हाँ, दो वैल्यू ही दिखी है ना.
Sir, to 0.05.
0.05.
0.05, yes.
Yes, sir.
So statistics says that the value which is on higher side, this two side will be open on in front of that value, right? So this is, you
Okay.
can see this. So now if you read from here, so it read it like this, that p value 0.00 is, this is a sign of greater than or less than?
Less than, sir.
Less than. 0.05 significance level. 0.05 significance level. So whenever your p value is less than 0.05 significance level, you are not in a position to accept your null hypothesis. You have to reject your null hypothesis. And when you reject your null hypothesis, so you will accept alternate hypothesis. On a similar fashion, if p value is greater than 0.05, just like we have taken one example, like instead of p value, I'll take 0.100. And on the contrary, the significance level is 0.05. So now you tell me which value is higher, 0.05 or 0.100?
100.
So the bigger value, where the two sides of this sun ball is going to open in front of that figure. So now this is a sign of greater than. So we can start from here reading that p value 0.100 is greater than significance level. So whenever your p value is greater than significance level, you have to accept your null hypothesis. And what null hypothesis says? That no difference between hypothesized value and actual value. Is it clear? And vice versa for alternate hypothesis. So alternate says that there is a huge difference between hypothesized value and alternate value. Is it fine? So when we are talking of accepting null hypothesis, so our p value is on higher side. So obviously there is an inverse relationship between p value and t value. So t value and z value is nothing but the reflection of difference between hypothesized and actual value. And you can see this, the difference between this value is too low, and that should be reflected in t and z value. And based on the low t and z value, your p value is on higher side. And that is where you can see that null hypothesis accepted. Fine enough. Clear to all of you? Any doubts? This was the core aspect of hypothesis. That is what we need to understand. Any questions? Anything which you could not understand, please let me know. Okay. सब कुछ समझ में आया या सब कुछ बाउंस गया? दो चीज हो सकती है when questions is not coming.
No, sir, clear. It's clear.
Clear है? Okay. Okay. So this is what I was trying to say, that p-value is greater than 0.05. So we are falling into acceptance region of null hypothesis, and that's why we have written this statement. We failed to reject. We failed to reject means we accept null, right? And even you can see this p-value is greater than less than 0.05. We reject null hypothesis, but we never write alternate. Because in statistics, all the statements should be passed based on null hypothesis. We never write alternate hypothesis. Clear? So this is what we have to see. And that is what I have said, that if the difference is high in terms of mean rank, that means what hypothesized value and actual value, that should be reflected in the mean value. And if those mean ranks are too high, we need to conclude that the difference is significant. And difference is significant means the p-value is less than 0.05. Then only the difference is significant, and that is where we have to reject the null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis should accept it. An alternate hypothesis is proving the significant difference in all the manner of the test results that we are going to predict. So here you can see this one example has been taken, like, the one faculty has taken the accounting class test, and out of 100, the average of the students was 81. And they want to check that all the students are nearest to the 81 or they are, beyond or below the 81. So mu is equal to 81, that is null hypothesis, and mu is not equals to 81, that is alternate hypothesis. So the study always begins with the assumption of null hypothesis that it's to be true. That is, the null hypothesis is mu equals to 81. And if the average marks of the students in accounting subject is not equals to 81, then it is H1 mu is not equals to 81 is accepted. What is significance level? Significance level, say simple meaning is the chances of errors that we need to see to it. So although any significance level is going to be accepted, in practice, we adopt either 1% or 5%. So when we take this 5% level of significance level, then there are about 5% chances out of 100. Matlab, if we are taking the complete range of 100% of the data, there are chances that whatever predictions, whatever analysis, and whatever judgment that we are going to make out of this study, there are chances that there would be a 5% changes in the results that we can expect it. That means we are predicting that 5% chances of error could be possible, right? And that is where it is said that there are 95% chances of getting accepted, which means that we are 95% confidence that hypothesis get accepted. Yeah, and distribution curve, we have already gone through it. So different test-wise hypothesis testing is now I'm showing you the live values and acceptance rejection thing. So you will have a better idea on this part. So you can see this, first of all, normality test. So you can see this normality test. So this is null hypothesis and this is alternate hypothesis. So null hypothesis says that data are normally distributed, right? And alternate says that data are not normally distributed. This is the only hypothesis where, the reverse situation is showing. Otherwise, in all the hypotheses for null in statistics, the null hypotheses are always negative statement and alternative hypothesis is always positive statement. But this is the only case where null hypothesis is having positive statements and alternative hypothesis is going to have this particular statements. Clear? So that is null and alternate hypothesis. So here you can see this, the test of normalities that we are talking about. Okay, and you can see the significance value. You can see the significance value 0.000, 0.000 in all the way. So is it greater than or less than 0.05? The significance value is called p-value, right? So it is greater than or less than? Array.
Sir, screen is not
Your
visible.
screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. Just a minute. So since how long it was not visible? I'm presenting. You have to, my screen is visible. I think you have to pin my screen. Others, I'm visible.
Sir,
No,
No,
sir.
sir. No,
No,
sir,
sir.
not visible yet.
sir, you are visible, but your screen is not visible. We clicked on the other picture also, but it is still not visible, sir.
Okay. Now it's visible.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay.
Visible.
So data are normally distributed and data are not normally distributed. This is for normality. And you can see this hypothesis 0.00, 0.00 value. This is p value. Now you tell me this p value is greater than 0.05 or less than 0.05?
Less than, sir.
Less than. So when it is less than, which hypothesis got accepted? Null or alternate?
Alternate.
Alternate. So data are
Alternate
normally
hypothesis.
distributed or not?
No.
So when data are normally distributed, you need to go for parametric test. And data are not normally distributed, you need to go for non-parametric test.
Non-parametric.
Right. Parametric tests are working on mean value. Non-parametric tests are working on mean rank values. Yeah. So this is the basic difference that we have to give it to the market in terms of what predictions we are making it. So that should be very clear, when we are doing certain things. Okay. So let's say if we are parametric test. So again, you can see this. As I told that there are only few hypotheses in this world which are having exceptions where null hypotheses are positive. So one was normality and another one is variance. Normality says that null hypothesis, the data are not data are normal, and alternate was data are not normal. Because usually it is a condition like nominal null hypothesis consists no. You can see this, it starts from here. All null hypotheses are having no, and all alternatives having positive. But there are only one or two hypotheses which is very exceptions in this world, which is called a normality in terms of and variances. Clear? So this is where we have to check data are normally distributed and data are not normally distributed for normality, and even for variances. Equal variance assumed and equal variance are not assumed. Clear? So if we are checking that equal variance are assumed, so here you can see this for equal variance assumed, you can see this assumption. If equal variance are assumed and you can see this p value, so is it greater than or less than 0.05? It is 0.000. Obviously, it is less than.
Sorry.
If it is less than, so alternate got accepted. So equal variance not assumed. So at this point of time, by checking these variances, we came to know that out of these two conditions, which result we need to check. Either we should check this result or either we should check these results. Right. And we come to the conclusion that this results is not accepted because our assumption says that equal variance are not assumed. So this result are having no use for us. We will not see these results. I hope it is clear. Why? Why? Because we got this equal variance assumed to be 0.000. Is it clear? This result is having no use. This result is having no use. Now we have to check this result. And here you can see this for this 0.00. For this t test, I was telling t and z test value we have to see. So here I'm talking about t test. And you can see this. If your p value is 0.000, your t value is quite high. You can see this. It is 15. Are you getting it? So 15 value is t is so high. So when t is high, it shows that the difference between what actual and predicted values are too high. And if the difference between actual predicted value is too high in terms of t and z value and f statistics also, So the p-value is going to be low, and when p-value is going to be low, that means it is less than 0.05. And if it is less than 0.05, it shows that difference is quite high. So difference is quite high can also be predicted when p-value is less than 0.05. And if p-value is less than 0.05, this hypothesis is going to be accepted when we are having this situation. And it shows that there is a difference between the population mean. Is it clear? Anything you don't understand, please let me know. Clear to all of you? Any questions? Any sort of questions? Am I audible to all of you now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Right. Please, any
No,
question?
sir, the thing which you just explained right now, can you please repeat? I was not very clear about it.
Okay. So what I was trying to say is, we have to check against a null and alternate hypothesis in terms of whether null hypothesis got accepted or rejected, and how to decide that null is accepted or rejected. So that should be decided based on the p-value that we have it, right? So we have to check the p-value first. So if your p-value is greater than 0.05, then null is going to be accepted, and if it is less than 0.05, then alternate is going to be accepted, right? So it is going to be decided based on this value, which is called Leavenworth statistics. So Leavenworth statistics will decide whether I should check this value or whether I should check this value. This value I can check when null is going to be accepted, and this value I will check when alternate is going to be accepted. Now we have to decide whether null is accepted or alternate. So we have to check this significance value for Leavenworth statistics, and this value is 0.000. So when you have p-value 0.000, is it greater than or less than 0.05 significance level?
It's less than, sir.
So if it is less than 0.05 significance level, which hypothesis got accepted in statistics?
Alternate hypothesis.
Alternate. What alternate says? Equal variance assumed or not?
Not assumed.
Not assumed.
So equal variance not assumed is our prediction. So can I see this value? No. So
No.
equal variance assumed I have to remove. So I need to remove this result. And this result has been reflected by here. So I will remove this results. I'll not check. I'll check these results. Equal variance not assumed. So this says that I have to check this t value and significance value. So I told you that there is an inverse relationship between t value, z value, and f value with t value. If they are going to be high, t value and all this, so p value is going to be low. Right. So here you can see this p value is 0.15.047. But again, to clarify, you can see this p value 0.000. It is greater than or less than 0.05.
Less than.
Again, same question. Which hypothesis got accepted when p value is less than
Alternative, sir.
alternative? So this is going to be accepted, and this is our condition of the results.
Okay, sir.
There is a significant difference between the population mean, means there is a difference between what hypothesized value means what we have assumed and what we have actual received. There is a difference between these two results, and that has been reflected in these two results. So these are the two identification mark which hypothesis is going to be accepted, whether it is null or alternate. Fine enough?
Done, sir.
Right. Same way, again, you can see this. This is ANOVA test. So you can see this p value and f value. You can see this over here. You will get more clarity. I told there is an inverse relation. So you can see this f value and p value both are on almost equal zone. So f value is also moderate or low. So p value is also moderate or low, not so high, not so too low. But obviously, if f value is low, then p value is never going to be significant. But you can see over here, if f value was 3, then p value was 0.03. Can you see this? And here you can see this, both are on equal point, p and z, p and f value. Here also you can see this. They are, if this is low, this is high, but this is high in terms of low, because as I told you that p-value is ranging from 0 to 1. So if we are receiving 0.777, it means 77%. It's too high. Why? Because the app statistics is very low. Here also 66.4. Why? Because app statistics is low. Here it is only 3%. Why? Because app statistics is high, 3.82, almost nearest to 4. Again here 1 point. So you can see this 0.396. Why? App statistics was low. So only app statistics was high in this case, and that is where it proves the difference of opinion for the online banking factor called user-friendly factors for online banking. And here the p-value is 0.003, which is less than 0.05, and hence we have to accept alternate, and due to which this is the ultimate interpretation of the results. And for rest of the part, this is going to be the result, ultimate result, that no difference has been found out. Is it fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If no difference has been found, there is no scope of further investigation. If there is a difference in terms of acceptance of alternate, then there is a scope of further evaluations. Sometimes people are thinking that, when we are accepting null hypothesis, so they are considering that this is not a research. But actually acceptance of both the hypothesis is a part of research. Because अगर आपको यही पता है कि आपको null ही accept करना है और alternate ही accept करना है, so my question is, why you are doing research when you know the result already? Many times I have seen this kind of scenarios. So it is not like that. Even acceptance of null hypothesis is called results, right? So we always accept it. But let's talk about the alternate first. That if we are receiving alternate hypothesis, there is a scope of further investigation. So if I have received the difference of opinion, for this result, so again I need to go for post hoc analysis. I was taking the difference of opinion between different age group. So you can see this is the p-value, significance value for every individual age group that I have it. And out of this age group, you can see this is 0.969, which is quite high in terms of acceptance. This is 0.614, and this is 1. Why? Because we have taken it for the same age category. Here it is 0.512, and here it is 0.023. So this is less than 0.05. So even I have noted in this category that overall in age group, there is a difference of opinion for the online factor of user friendliness. So I need to find out that which age category person is making difference of opinion for the user-friendly factors for the online banking. Is it 0 to 20 years, 21 to 40, 41 to 60, and more than 60? Depends on the category which I have taken. Here I have taken this category. So I want to find out that overall in age group, there is a difference of opinion. But actually, which age group is creating a significant difference of opinion? So I have taken the post hoc analysis for every age category wise p-value, and out of this category I found that above 60 years people in all the categories, you can see this over here also, you can see this over here also, the same scenario, they are making a difference of opinion significantly. Clear? Because p-value is less than 0.05. Understood? And when we have received this p-value to be significant, you can see this is app statistics for this f value. So you can see this f value was too high for this, and that's why the p-value was too low for this, because there is an inverse relations. There is inverse relations. Clear? If this is high, this is low. And if this is high and this is low, that proves difference. And difference always create a future scope of analysis. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, I have a question.
Right, please.
Sir, in the Excel sheet, if I put these variables and data information, it will automatically, the result I will get.
Right, you will get it for ANOVA. Post hoc is not possible. For post hoc, you have to go for SPSS or other softwares.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Again, same you have to do it for hypothesis. So Thank you so much. I'm making this session open for question answer. If you still have any questions, query, any suggestions, opinion about session, you can always speak out, please.
Sir, one question apart from this hypothesis, a normal related to the total population. For example, if you want to study research on social media recruitment,
Right.
which recruiter is using LinkedIn, how much percentage of recruiter is using the another platform. So how we can identify that total population by some literature review or by statistics, how we can identify that total population.
Can you repeat what was the criteria of your population?
Sir, for example, I want to study on social media recruitment from recruiter perspective, from recruitee perspective. We'll take an example of recruiter. So how much percentage of recruiter are using LinkedIn? How many are using Insta, WhatsApp, social media, any kind of the platform? So in that case, how we can identify that particular population?
So population is not possible, first of all, because in population also there are two concepts.
Yes,
One
sir.
concept is called identified population, that is called known population, and there are certain population which is called unidentified population, which is called unknown population. So when we are talking about population, that has been two criteria: known population and unknown population. Let's
Yes.
say if I'm making study on consumer perception towards FMCG products. So is it possible that I should know each and every person in this world who is using this FMCG product? Not possible.
No, sir, not possible.
So this is called unknown population. So same case of yours, like you want to see that who is using this LinkedIn, Facebook as a part of recruitment. Sometimes even the person don't know whether he is using or not. Right.
Yes.
So first of all, it is a case of unknown population. And again, from all the population, how can you identify that this particular person is using it? Somebody may create some paid advertisement. Those people will reach out to your account and you will notify those things. But on the other aspect, there are certain people who don't have a budget or those who don't want to marketize so many things. So although they are using it, but still they are not reaching out to you. So again, how many recruiters are using social media and all this aspect? It is again a topic of research where again you need to apply the hypothesis with the consideration of you will not reach out to the each and every population and for which you need to work out on the sample study. And when we are going with the sample study, the entire session that we have covered today from starting to end will be useful to you because we will decide hypothesis when we are doing sample study for population, and that is what it's called assumption about the population, because we cannot study each and every characteristics of the population, each and every parameters of the population.
Agree. Agree. That. Thank you so much, sir.
Right. Thank you. Any more questions?
Fine, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Please.
so actually, I'm working on mathematical anxiety and have some other
This is
ideas
great.
also. Can you hear me, sir?
Right. Please.
Yeah. So actually, if someone wants to do something new, like want to try something new which is not done by others, how do we write a literature review then? Because many standard papers they reject because it's not done or it's not known. Like uh, uh, I've experienced it. So how do we proceed in that case?
See, we are not innovators, first of all. We are researchers, right? So, invention and innovators, that is two different aspects. So, when you are doing literature review, that means you are taking the help of previous researchers. So, you want to, research something on it. You are not inventing something new. Uh, unless and until you are depending upon the chemical or medical science where new drugs has been identified. But in social science, nothing new has been identified. We are just having different combinations through which
No,
we are
I'm
trying
from
to find the best
mathematical background
suitable.
actually,
Right.
science background. Yeah, that.
You are
So
from science.
yes, sir. I'm from mathematical background.
Yeah, so
Mathematics.
mathematically you can
So
have so many equations like,
yeah,
there would be
but I'm
certain.
trying to relate mathematics and social science actually.
Right,
So
right.
if you want to do something new, try. How do we proceed then?
Then nothing like, you have certain observations on what previously formulas has been happening. And if you found that there will be certain laws which is existing, so you can definitely go for it. Like, it is like an invention in science. I'm not well in terms of science and all this aspect. But yeah, if you want something new, then hypothesis is not going to be applicable, right? It is completely new invention. So in science, there are certain papers which has been drafted without hypothesis because you are inventing something new. You are making certain new formulas.
Yeah.
You are making certain new products, new
Okay.
patterns. So for which the hypothesis is not going to accept it, because hypothesis is for when the parameters are non-reachable, you need to take out some representative of parameter. But in your cases, it's not happening certain times, and I have seen it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So then, what this type of like this category is called not researcher, right? So it's not valid till now. It's not no one has validated it. So what is that called?
See, no one is validated. If you are making, even in science, there are certain research, where some add-on things you have it. Even whosoever has find out certain things, new formula, new inventions, new products. So being a review paper, you can criticize, or you can appreciate those papers. So those kind of review papers are also taken up. And there are certain papers where certain new formulas, new drugs has been find out. You want to check the efficiency and effectiveness. So again, where the hypothesis can be useful. But at a point, like, I'm not well versed in all the topics of science. But yeah, I know that some invention papers are there where the hypotheses are not going to be applicable. But yeah, some innovation has already happened, and you want to check the effectiveness and efficiency of that. So obviously the hypothesis will come into the picture.
Thank you so much, sir.
Right. Yeah, any other questions?
Sir,
Right.
I would like to know that suppose if there's errors in hypothesis testing, so what would be the percentage that our hypothesis should be accepted or maybe rejected?
See, this is not called error. When your data cleaning process was done, so
Okay.
what results you can call it as error? There is no error. Either your
Okay.
null hypothesis accepted or rejected, both are results. I
Okay.
cannot predict that, this is going to be the result. That's what I was telling. No? If you know
Yeah.
the results in well in advance, why you are doing research?
Okay.
So even acceptance or null hypothesis is a result that we need
Okay.
to accept it.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. So I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, all of you, for your patient listening and making this section more interactive. I hope this session is going to be useful to you in your future journey of research, and you will try to incorporate maximum out of this research. And I hope this session was up to the mark as per your expectations. Thank you so much for coming and giving me this platform. Thank you so much, Research Foundation of India, Ajay sir, Saurabh sir, Neha madam, for coordinating today. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Kunal
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Still, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me in case of any problems in hypothesis. Yeah, madam. Neha, madam, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, as we bring today's session to a close, we extend our heartfelt appreciation to all the participants for your active involvement and invaluable contributions. A special acknowledgement goes to the esteemed speaker, Dr. Kunal sir, for generously sharing his time and expertise with us. We also express sincere gratitude to the organizing committee and the sponsors. The support has been instrumental in making this program possible, and with profound appreciation for everyone's dedication and involvement. We officially conclude today's session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, all of you. Goodbye. Good night.
session is over now. Yes, sir.